Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today is Saturday, November. Can you believe it? November 7, 2020. And you may want to have a couple of pillows at the ready for support under the head, maybe under the knees. When we go onto the belly, some people like a pillow under the belly. It's up to you. I'm going to start as I usually start. I like to start class with setting the context for doing somatic movement. Somatic movement is based on how your brain and nervous system organizes movement. If you are healing from an injury, want to get rid of stiffness or pain, or change your posture, you need to change how your brain organizes your muscles and movement. And it's how you do the movement that is important. When you move slowly with awareness, do not force, and back away from pain, you are allowing the motor cortex of your brain to reorganize and upgrade your movement patterns. When muscles stay chronically contracted, as for example in the habit of slouching, or when you are forgetting to use some of your muscles, as when you are recovering from a painful surgery or injury, your brain can't organize your movements well or efficiently. You need to wake up your brain and muscles and replace less efficient patterns for more efficient ones. We'll use the pandicular process to directly speak with our motor cortex, which is the part of the brain that organizes voluntary movement. The pandicular process has two parts. First, we'll make a comfortable voluntary contraction, and then part two, we'll voluntarily and slowly release out of the contraction to reset the resting tonus of the muscles. From brainstem reflexes to cerebellar learned motor patterns to limbic system emotional participation to our very evolved human cortex, our whole motor system gets an upgrade with somatic movement. So now we'll get started. So we'll start with our body scan. So you want to lie down on your back if you already haven't done so, and to start figuring out how to make yourself comfortable. You may want support under your head, and that allows that extra support under the head, even if it raises the head a little higher than what you're used to, allows your neck to lengthen a little bit more as you relax and release any tension you're holding in the muscles. And your neck will get longer, your whole spine will get longer, your whole body will get longer, and will get broader, like in the shoulder girdle, across the front of the chest, across the upper back. Focus on your breathing. Let your breathing be easy. I'm going to suggest nostril breathing. You can slightly flare your nostrils and open your airways. Some people like to breathe in through the nose, and sometimes they like to sigh or breathe out through their mouth. That's fine. Science tells me there's been so much research now. You want to inhale as much as you can through your nose, and a lot of us are mouth breathers, and we really need to break that habit and learn to breathe through our nose. Our breathing is healthier when we slow it down. So as you rest, feel the support below you, basically on your backside or the parts of your backside that are in contact with the floor. And as I go through a few different parts of your body, just visualize and allow them to relax, for the muscles to lengthen, and for you to feel the support below you, so you can relax into support. And if my dog has to stop growling. Okay, so you want your neck to be long, you want your spine to be long, you want to allow your chest and your upper back to become broad. You don't have to press your shoulders or your shoulder blades down more than they are, but the direction that you want to visualize them is going down into the floor so that you broaden. You can go ahead and see what parts of your rib cage are making contact with the floor in the back, obviously. And you want to, as much as you can, let go of any held tension, held contraction in your buttocks. It's very common for us to have places of of chronic contraction, and we hold on, and we even don't realize we're holding on. So check out those buttocks. They often hide tension we are holding, and we don't even realize it. And allow your legs to lengthen from the hips all the way down through the thighs, knees, forelegs, ankles, the whole foot, and the toes. Allow the legs to lengthen and lengthen out of your back, lengthen out of your hips. And then climb back up into your shoulders and allow your arms to lengthen. Let your arms lengthen out of your shoulders, down the upper arms, through the elbows, through the forearms, wrists, hands, fingers. Feel that length from shoulders to fingers. Feel the contact of the back of your head against whatever surface it's on, and come all the way down into your feet. If your legs are long, you'll feel the contact at the heels somewhere. If your knees are bent, you'll feel the contact with the whole bottom of the foot. And so from back of the head to your feet, feel that contact, feel the length, and once again, focus on comfortable breathing, nasal breathing, slowing your breathing down. And now we'll move right into our somatic movement. And we'll start with our arch and flatten. So I like to bend my legs one at a time, allowing my knees to bend. Taking a moment to make sure I'm comfortable in the bent knee position. My low back is often flatter in this position. And as you inhale, you gently want to allow your waistline to lift a little, and that rolls you towards your tailbone to arch. And then you'll come out of the arch. Theoretically, you'll pause or at least really slow down as then you make your way into a flatten. And as you exhale, your belly very gently contracts, your pubic bone comes forward or even slightly curves up towards your chest. And then as you inhale, you let go of the front of your body slowly. You transition into starting to move into that arch. And it's the morning. Many of us haven't moved very much. So let your movement be very gentle and appropriate to the level of activity you've either had or haven't had yet today. And just go ahead back and forth with your arch and your flatten. Go for comfort, go for ease, go for really a pleasant sensation up and down the spine. Perhaps you feel the movement into your head and neck. And with your next flatten, without rushing, with your next flatten, come to a pause, a stop, a rest. Some people like to lengthen their legs at rest. Some people don't necessarily need to do that. We're going to be working with the neck a little bit. I usually do bend my knees to do the neck work, but you certainly can do them with your legs long as well. We're going to start with the suboccipital muscles, the muscles very high up in the neck that attach the top of your first two neck vertebrae, your cervical vertebrae, with your occiput, with your skull. So if it's comfortable, bring your hands behind your head, not your neck, but actually your head if you can. And if it's not comfortable for your hands to be behind your head, just leave your arms down and let your head do the movement. And as you inhale, tip your head back into your hands and even give yourself just a little bit of resistance. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly release. And you are just going to tip your head down a little bit so your chin is actually kind of coming into your throat. If you had an Adam's apple, if you were a woman, your chin would be going more towards the Adam's apple to lengthen the back of your neck, and your hands just follow. And then once again, you'll inhale and gently arch. You're targeting these very high neck muscles, and give yourself a little resistance of your hands into your head as it tips back. And then as you exhale, slowly, slowly, gently tip your chin down towards your throat to lengthen the back of your neck. Follow with your hands. And perhaps do one more set. It should feel really good, especially those of us that wear glasses and have different lens fields. We often over contract those muscles by tipping our head back a lot. So you really want to have this feel yummy and give those very high neck muscles a chance to lengthen. And then just give yourself a rest. Let your arms come down to your sides where they're comfortable. And we're going to work a kind of a combination of the top of the shoulder muscles, the upper trapezius, but also the supraspinatus muscle underneath the upper trapezius. I'm kind of combining a couple of different movements I like to do to get into the top of the shoulders and just below the top of the shoulders. So start on one side, it doesn't matter which side you're starting on, and let your arm come a little bit away from your body, maybe 6 to 8 inches away from your body. It just positions your arm a little better to get into these muscles. And not with the arm that's down, because that's the side you're going to start with your other hand, just feel the front of your neck. From the middle of the neck down towards your collarbone, the front of your neck, so you get a sense in space where the front of your neck is. And then with your hand, feel the back of your neck, again, from about halfway down to the base of the neck, so that you get a sense of the difference between where the back of your neck is in space and where the front of your lower neck is in space. And now take the designated side that you're going to be working with. Your arms are down. Your working side, that arm is about 6 to 8 inches away from your body. And you're going to take the tip of that shoulder, the designated shoulder, the tip at the edge of the shoulder where it starts to meet the arm, and you're going to take that tip towards the front of your neck. So you're going to have to bring your shoulder just a little forward as you bring it in, and let your head and neck do whatever they want to support that movement. So you're bringing the tip of your shoulder toward the front of your lower neck, and then slowly let your shoulder release and relax. And we're going to do just one more repetition. Bring the tip of your shoulder in towards the lower half of the front of your neck. And slowly release. You're getting more of the anterior fibers of the upper trapezius. And now that same shoulder, the same tip of that shoulder is going to go back, and it's going to aim for the lower half of the neck in the back, maybe towards the base of the neck in the back. So you might even have to slightly bring your shoulder backward and then in towards the base of your neck. And slowly release and relax. Completely let your shoulder and arm relax. We will repeat that. You're getting the upper trapezius and supraspinatus muscle. Once again, you're going to bring the tip of your shoulder to the base of the back of your neck. So your shoulder may need to come back a little bit, and then aim it towards the base of your neck. And slowly release, relax. Give yourself a moment to compare the two sides of your neck and shoulders. And now we're going to go to the other shoulder. You're going to take the tip of your second shoulder, the tip where the shoulder meets the upper arm, and you're going to bring your shoulder towards the front lower half of your neck in the front. So your shoulder will come a little forward, and then you're going to bring it in towards the lower half of the front of your neck, and then slowly release and relax. You're actually getting a number of muscles. You're probably getting subclavius under the clavicle, as well as the anterior fibers of upper trapezius. And repeat. Bring your shoulder a little forward and bring the tip of that shoulder in towards the front of the neck, and then slowly release and relax. And now we're going to aim for the lower half of the back of the neck. So bring the tip of that shoulder a little backward and towards the base of your neck in the back, and slowly release and relax. You're getting upper trapezius and supraspinatus, and once again repeat the tip of your shoulder a little backward and towards the base of your neck in the back, and slowly release and relax. And give yourself a moment to sense your experience from the movements you've been doing, not only in the neck and shoulders, but perhaps throughout the whole body. You get releases in all different places in the body as you begin to relax something in the system. And now we're going to do this next move with the knees bent. So if you've lowered your legs, please go ahead. And once again, bend your knees, and your arms are down fairly close to your body, just relaxed on the floor. And what you're going to do, we're going to be doing a little bit of rotational movement. You're going to bring both your knees a little bit to the left, and you're going to turn both your arms a little bit to the right. So your right arm will externally rotate, your left arm will internally rotate. And then slowly, you're going to come to neutral. And now your knees go to the right, and both arms are going to rotate to the left. Your left arm is externally rotating, your right arm is internally rotating. And slowly come back to center, and now go back and forth gently. You're bringing your knees to the left, your arms are rolling to the right, so you've got a contralateral oppositional rotation, upper and lower body. And as you go from side to, as you alternate the position, your rib cage is involved. Let your head and neck turn as it wants to. Both arms and shoulders and shoulder blades are participating. Both legs and hips are participating. It may go up into your pelvis. Let it be comfortable. Let it be really a really pleasant rotational experience. Complete the one that you're on. Bring everything back to center, and go ahead and take a little rest interlude. If you'd like to lengthen your legs during the interlude, you're certainly most welcome to do that. Whatever is comfortable for your legs and your knees, and use support of a pillow as you need to. We're going to be moving into hip hiking, and you can do this first hip hiking movement. You can do it with your legs long or with your knees bent. You get to choose. So decide how you want your legs, and you're going to do a test. I do this a lot. I will guide you through the test. You're going to do a hip hiking to each side to see which side is your side of ease. And then you're going to work with 2 more repetitions with your side of ease. So I'm going to lead this. You can follow if you'd like. You're going to hip hike with the right. That means your buttocks stay flat on the floor. You're going to hike your right hip and slightly bring down your right armpit. Your head will probably roll to the right. Your right ribs are squeezing a little bit. And then you're slowly coming out of this pandiculation to neutral and rest and stop. And now you're going to hip hike to the left. Buttocks stay flat. Left hip, left armpit, come closer together gently. Your left ribs squeeze together. Slowly release and come out of this to stop. And whichever side was easier, and if they were equal, then you just choose which side. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to do 2 more repetitions with the easier side. So go ahead with your easier side, hip and armpit. It's a lateral flexion or a lateral bending. I just shorten it to hip hike. Your hip comes up, your armpit goes down a little bit, your head usually rolls a little bit. You come to your rest. And then with your own pacing, you go and you're going to do 2 more with your opposite side. If your opposite side was quite difficult to organize, go smaller. Stay with comfort. Stay back away from pain. And you can just continue to do that at your own pace. And when you've completed, we are going to do a second hip hiking movement. This time, I'm going to ask you to bend your knees, whether your knees stay bent or you had long legs with the last one and now you need to bend your knees. For this hip hiking, go ahead and bend both knees. And you're going to take your arms, you're going to leave your upper arms on the floor close to your body. And you're going to bend your elbows and bring your fingers towards the ceiling. So your upper arms are going to stay on the floor. Your shoulders are broad. Your shoulders are staying in the direction of going towards the floor. And bring your palms facing each other. So they're parallel and facing each other. And now please follow the directions. We're going to combine hip hiking with a rotational movement in our forearm. It's a supination pronation movement. So what you're going to do as you hip hike with the right, let your right hip come up, your right armpit go down, your right palm turns towards your face, your left palm turns towards your feet. And then you slowly release. And as you release, your palms come facing each other again. And you're going to repeat that. You're going to hip hike with your right hip comes up, right armpit goes down, right palm comes towards your face, left palm goes towards your feet. And slowly release. Your forearms are turning, one in one direction, one in the other. And now we're going to go to the other side and hip hike left. So now as you hip hike left, hike the left hip, left armpit comes down, the left palm comes towards your face, and the right palm goes towards your feet. And then you slowly release with the palms parallel to each other. And once again, hip hike left, left side shortens, left rib squeeze, left palm towards face, right palm towards feet. And then very slowly, you're going to bring your hands down to the floor. If you bring your hands down nice and slowly, you will lengthen your upper arm muscles, including the biceps muscle. And the biceps can get very chronically contracted. So slowly lower those hands. And when your hands get to the floor, completely rest and relax in any position of comfort. And as you rest, you can tune into your body. You can sense if you feel like you're getting longer in your spine and back, but also longer in your arms and legs, longer in your neck coming into your head, and broader across the chest, broader across the upper back. And we're going to, the last move we're going to do in this little part of the first part of the class. We're going to end with arch and curl, but of course, after we started, I'm going to add a variation. So allow your knees to bend. If it's comfortable, hands behind your head. And you're going to do our traditional arch and curl. So I like to do a full spinal extension as you inhale and arch. As your tailbone goes toward the floor, your head goes gently backward. If it's comfortable, your elbows go into the floor to arch. And then as you exhale and curl, you come out of the contraction in your back, you transfer to an exhale and contract your abdominal region. You curl forward, your hands help lift your head, and your elbows are aimed towards your knees, and you slowly come down. And now, on your second round, or on the round you're on, your arch is going to stay your arch, but on your curl, you're going to bring your right knee, you're going to lift your right bent leg and bring your right knee to your elbows. So inhale, arch, full spinal arch. And as you exhale and transition into curl, your elbows come toward each other. Your hands help lift your head, your bent right leg lifts, and your elbows and right knee come toward each other. And then you slowly come down. So we're adding a little bit more hip flexion. And on the next one, you're going to transition to the bent left leg coming towards your elbows. So you're going to inhale, do a full spinal extension. And as you transition into exhale and curl, you're going to bring your elbows toward each other and your left knee and elbows toward each other. And slowly come down and relax. And I can't remember if we did one or two of the other. It really doesn't matter, but this is where I'm going to stop this movement and give yourself just a moment to rest in a position of comfort. These interludes are very important to give your brain and body time to experience the sensations from the movements you've been doing. And turn over onto your belly. If you are not comfortable on your belly, you can just hang out and visualize what we're doing. Some people are more comfortable if they have some kind of pillow under their belly. That is up to you. And you're going to put one hand over the other and your forehead on whichever hand is on top. And you're going to actually do an arch and flatten. So on your inhale, you're going to make your arch very long. So you're going to make your arch much longer than you are going to bring your head up. So your head doesn't come up very much because you're focusing on length. It'll come up a little bit. So you'll inhale and arch, your hands will stay on the floor, your head will lift a little bit. And then as you exhale, you're going to transition to a flatten. And you're going to bring your pubic bone and your forehead a little bit toward each other. The back of your neck will get long. The front of your body will get a little bit shorter. And then as you find an inhale and transition again into a long arch, longer, the arch goes long more than the head goes up, but it's still a full spinal arch, very long. And then as you exhale, transition into a flatten. Your belly contracts, your pubic bone and forehead gently come toward each other. And relax. Now you can I usually keep my head in the middle for the next part. We're going to go down into hip hiking in this position. So whichever side was easier to hip hike when you were lying on your back, you might want to start with that side. We're going to alternate. So you're going to choose which side you're going to start with, and you're going to hike your hip on one side. It means your hip is coming towards your armpit. Your armpit may be able to come down a little bit. The ribs on that side may be able to squeeze a little bit. Your head may want to slightly move, and that's good. That's fine. And then you're going to come out of that. And you're going to transition to hip hiking with your other side. If one side is harder to organize, you just do that side smaller and slower. And gently go back and forth. I'm not going to give you too long to do this, but it's very interesting to experience the same move, but from different positions, because your brain has to organize it differently, because you're in a different relationship to gravity. You're in a different relationship to support. And bring the one you're in the midst of to rest. And now you're going to go to your pelvis, and you're going to gently roll your pelvis from side to side. So for example, you might want to start by bringing the right side of your pelvis, your right hemipelvis, forward into the floor, and your left buttock, left hemipelvis go a little bit more into the air. And then you're going to slowly transition. This is almost more of a flow. It's a sort of a flow pandiculation. You can come to a full stop in the middle if you want, or you can go into what I call a slow flow. And then the left side of the front of the left pelvis will come toward the floor. The right buttock will come a little bit more into the air, your right buttock representing your right hemipelvis. And then slowly and gently rock from side to side in your pelvis. Let it be comfortable. You're creating flexibility. You may feel this rocking movement all the way through your somatic center and up into the rib cage. You might feel it down a certain portion of your legs, even into your feet. It just depends on how you're doing it and how your body is organized. And bring that to a pause. So now we're going to do some combinations. Go ahead and turn your face. I'm going to lead this. If you're more comfortable, I'm going to start with your face to the right. If you're more comfortable turning your face to the left, you can go ahead and turn your face to the left and transpose my directions. So you're going to turn your face to the left. It's up to you if you want your right hand and face touching or not. But we're going to go with the lower body for a moment. So with your face to the right, you're going to bring the right side of your pelvis forward and up, and gently lift your left straight leg, which is your long leg. And then you're going to slowly come out of that. So those are the directions. Some of you came along already, but some of you didn't know what was happening yet. So we're organizing our lower body now to go into a full cat 3, which is the back extension. So you're going to bring your right hemipelvis forward into the floor and up, hip hike, up towards your right armpit. That lengthens your left side, left leg, and lift your left leg gently. And if your head wants to pop up and lift, that's fine. And slowly come down. And now organize your hand to lift with your head, if you can. If that's too stressful, then just leave your hand down and just organize your head and lower body. So you're going to organize your lower body. You're going to bring the front of your right pelvis forward and up. And as you inhale, lift your left leg, head, hand, and elbow. And slowly come down. And you're going to do that one more time. Your face is turned, probably to the right. And you're going to, I have a question. Should the hip that's lifting also be hiking? Yes, yes. You're doing a double movement. Thank you for the question. Your right hip, your face is to the right. Your right hip is both going forward into the floor and hiking up towards your armpit. And then you're lifting your head, hand, elbow, and left leg. And this is the way the walking pattern is more organized. And it's a trickier move, it's a more sophisticated move, but it's a really good move to try to put together. And now, very gently, you're going to transition your face to the other side. If you've been following my particular directions, your face will be now turning to the left. Your right arm will be down at your side. Your left arm will be bent. It could be under your face or not. If your right hand is more comfortable bent, that's fine too. Let's organize the lower body. So your left hip, it's a double move. Your left hip is both going to come forward into the floor and up towards your left armpit. That lengthens your right leg, and you're going to lift your right leg. And slowly let that release. Your head may want to pop up, and that's fine. Face to the left. Front of your left hip goes forward and up towards your left armpit. Right long leg lifts, and allow your head to also come up and slowly come down. And this time we'll organize it, if you haven't done so, with your head, with your hand and elbow as well. So you're going to organize your lower body. So your left hip comes forward into the floor and up. You're going to lift head, hand, elbow, and right leg. And slowly come down. Let everything relax. And if you practice this at home on your own time, you may want to do a few more repetitions, but this can be quite a movement to organize, so a little at a time is just fine. Turn over onto your back and rest. Now, after we come out of back extension or the back lift, traditionally we do cat routine number 4. And we are going to do that, but of course, I'm going to add some variation. I have a number of people in my classes that have been doing somatics for quite a while. And if you haven't, just do the best you can. You'll get the hang of it. So you're going to allow your knees to bend. And so I can lead this and not get confused. I'm going to start with having you bring your right hand behind your head. So your left hand will just stay on the floor. Your right hand will be behind your head. You're going to, when it's time to go into the curl, you'll be picking up your bent left leg, but please listen to the directions because I'm going to go right into a variation. The arch is going to remain the arch. So you're going to inhale and arch. And as you come out into the curl, you're going to let your hand help lift your head. You're going to start lifting your left bent leg, but you're going to externally rotate your left leg. Your knee will go outward. Your foot will come inward, and you're going to direct your right elbow and left foot toward each other. Right elbow, left foot. And then slowly come down, and we will repeat. Most people find this quite comfortable. So you're going to inhale and arch. It's your regular arch. And then as you exhale and curl, and your hand helps lift your head, your left leg externally rotates, your foot comes inward, right elbow, left foot come toward each other. And then slowly come back down. Now for the next 2 repetitions, we're going to stay with the left foot. The left bent leg is still going to lift, but now you're going to internally rotate that left leg. It's a little trickier to do. Do not force it. As your left knee comes in, your left foot might be able to go outward a little bit. So you're going to inhale and arch. And as you exhale and curl, you're internally rotating the left leg, knee in, foot out, and your right elbow aims towards the outside of your left knee. And slowly come down, and we'll repeat. You'll inhale and arch, and you can go on at your own pace. Exhale, curl, internally rotate your left leg, aim your right elbow towards the outside of your left knee. It's just a direction. And then slowly come down, and you're going to change your hand positions. So you'll bring your left hand behind your head. You're going to get ready to pick up your right bent leg, which will externally rotate. So you're going to inhale and arch. And as you exhale and curl and start to lift your right bent leg, it's going to externally rotate your right knee outward and aim your left elbow and right foot. Your right foot is going inward toward each other. And slowly come down. And you're going to repeat that. You're going to inhale and arch. And as you exhale and curl, your left elbow and right foot come towards each other because your right leg externally rotates, your right knee goes out. On the next 2 repetitions, your right knee will internally rotate and you'll aim your left elbow towards the outside of your right knee. So you're going to inhale and arch. And as you exhale and curl, your right leg internally rotates, right knee inward, aim your left elbow towards the outside of your right knee. Your right foot may be able to come outward a little bit. Stay within your comfort zone, come down slowly, and 1 more repetition of that same move. Inhale, arch. Exhale, curl, aiming your left elbow towards the outside of your right knee. Your right leg is internally rotating. And come back down and rest for just a moment, a little interlude. I personally really like that. Variation a lot. Okay. We're going to turn over into the side position. You can decide which side you'd like to turn on first. I suggest some pillow support for under your head. Yes, you can use your bottom arm as a pillow. That is up to you. I personally like support of a pillow or a bolster or folded blankets or something like that. And you're going to take our regular position. Your knees are bent at approximately 90 degrees if that's comfortable. And you're going to rest your top arm along your side. And we are going to do a version of our regular lateral flexion, but we're going to vary it a little bit. Let me go through what the bottom part is. The bottom part is your knees stay touching. Your top foot comes up. That helps to internally rotate your thigh to help hike your hip. And so the bottom, that's what the bottom leg is going to do. And I often just call it foot up. But now in your upper body, what you're going to do, keep your upper arm along your body, not forward, not backward, but right on your side if you can. Your upper arm is right on your side. Bend your elbow and direct your fingers toward your shoulder. Direct your fingers, just let them kind of rest towards your shoulder. They don't have to touch. Your upper arm stays on your side. And as you breathe, you can do this with either breath, you're going to bring your top elbow and hip toward each other, lifting your foot. So you're laterally flexing in this position. And then as you slowly come out of this, take a gentle lengthening of your top arm and top leg, really gentle. just a gentle lengthening, getting a little bit of opening between your armpit and your hip to open the ribs. And then slowly come back into your starting position. Your legs comfortably bent, your arm along your side, bend your elbow, your fingers are hovering towards your shoulder, your upper arm is on your side. And again, breathe any way you want. Pick your foot up to hike your hip, bring your elbow down, which brings your armpit down, which contracts your ribs. Your head may want to lift, it may not. Either one is okay. Slowly release into this nice, gentle lengthening. And then slowly come back to rest and let your upper arm rest along your side. And for the next move, we're going to be working with the pelvis and legs, top leg a little more, so your upper arm can find a position of comfort. We're going to alternate the rotation of our leg hip. So we're going to start with the one that we just did where you keep your knees touching and you're going to internally rotate your leg to bring your foot up to hike your hip. However, I'm going to start with a variation. You're going to lead this movement from the bottom of your foot. So you're going to direct the bottom of your foot to start turning up toward the ceiling, which is going to raise your lower leg. Keep your knees touching. Your hip may want to hike. Mine does. And then slowly come down and let your foot relax. Now you're going to go the opposite direction. Some people call it the clam, but we're going to lead it from our foot. So you're going to take the bottom of your top foot, the bottom of the foot, and you're going to turn it down onto the bottom foot, which will help you to raise your knee into, that leg is going into some external rotation with abduction, and slowly come down. Stay within your comfort zone. You're going to alternate. Now, the bottom of your foot is going to turn up toward the ceiling, which is going to direct your lower leg to come up to internally rotate your thigh and hike your hip. And then slowly come down. And now direct the bottom of your foot to turn downward. It's an inversion that will direct your knee, your top knee, to come away from your bottom knee, and your top leg will, your feet stay in contact. Your top leg is doing some external rotation with abduction. And go ahead and do one more repetition of each, using clearly, to the best of your ability, using the bottom of your foot to direct the movement of the rotation through the leg and into your hip. This really helps to bring into focus the relationship of how we use our feet in relationship to our hips, or the hip we're working on. And then slowly make your way to your other side. Stay within your comfort zone. Adjust your pillow under your head for comfort. Bend your knees about at hip height. If that's comfortable, you can make them lower. If that's not, your ankles are under your knees. You can almost see your toes. You're going to take your top arm, your upper arm is going to stay along your side. You're going to bend that elbow. Your fingers are going to drift towards your shoulder, but your upper arm is on your side. And you're going to breathe comfortably. And now you're going to bring your foot up to hike your hip and bring your armpit down. Your elbow goes long, and slowly release and come into a gentle lengthening. And then you'll gently come back into your starting position. You're going to bring your elbow downward, your hip upward, your armpit and hip are coming closer together, your top foot comes up, your head may or may not want to come up, and then you're going to slowly release into a gentle lengthening. And relax. And now we're going to do the second move, which is we're going to do the movement of the hip by directing the foot. So we're going to start by, it's actually an E version. You're going to turn the bottom of your foot up toward the ceiling, which is going to raise your leg, internally rotate your top thigh, and hike your hip, and then slowly come down. And then the next move is to take the bottom of your foot. It's an inversion. You're going to turn the bottom of your foot inward to stand on your bottom foot, and that's going to help you to raise your knee. You're doing an external rotation with abduction. And slowly make your way down. And you're going to continue alternating this move with using your foot as the guide. So your foot will, you may be at a slightly different pace than I am, but if the bottom of the foot is turning toward the ceiling, your foreleg is coming up and your thigh is internally rotating on the other thigh. If the bottom of your foot is turning downward on your bottom foot, your knee is lifting and you're externally rotating with some abduction. So go at your own pace and own comfort level. Sometimes one side is much easier than the other side. Sometimes one move on one side is easier and the other move on the other side is easier. Whatever is true is true. Go with comfort, ease, back away from pain. Complete the one that you're in the midst of and turn over onto your back. And take a rest. Notice the length in your body, the length of your spine, the length of the back of your body and the front of your body. Notice the width and broadening of your chest and your upper back. Your whole shoulder girdle is broadening. Your neck is long. Your head is coming out of a long neck, which is coming out of your whole spine and back. Your arms are long, coming out of your shoulders. Your legs are long, coming out of your back, pelvis, and hips. And we are going to do a move that I like a lot. I call it the steering wheel. Go ahead and allow your knees to bend. And again, it uses a hip hiking motion. We have a theme here today of a lot of hip hiking, but I'm integrating a certain amount of shoulder girdle and arm movements, continuing a little bit of the theme from last class, but working throughout the whole body and even adding some footwork. So what you're going to do, your knees are bent. Allow your upper arms to rest on the floor. Your shoulders are feeling broad. You're going to bend your elbows with your fingers facing the ceiling. And it's as if you're taking hold of a steering wheel, like your car steering wheel. And as you do this, you're going to be aware of two things. your arms may want to come inward a little bit, and that's fine, but you're also going to keep a sense of your shoulders being broad. And what you're going to do, you're going to turn your steering wheel to the right, and notice how that allows you to hip hike to the right. Your right hip and armpit are coming toward each other. You're steering to the right. Your head is probably rolling right. And then come back to neutral. And now start to turn your steering wheel to the left. And notice how that helps you hip hike to the left. Your left hip comes up, your left armpit goes down, your right arm has to lift more because it's the higher arm. And then you slowly come back. As you come back to center, you can sort of reorganize your upper arms closer to the floor and the broadening of your shoulders. Now turn your steering wheel to the right. You'll be hip hiking to the right. Your left arm will have to lift a little. Many things are happening in this move, but as you kind of maybe make this more of a flow and alternate, when you turn left, you hip hike left. Notice your shoulder blades are rotating. So one shoulder blade is rotating in one direction, your other shoulder blade is rotating in the opposite direction. We call it rotation of the shoulder joint is going up or down. And the shoulder blade is turning on your ribs. So you've got lateral flexion, hip hiking, going through your spine and trunk, and you've got the turning of your arms, your forearms, your shoulder blades, and come back to center and slowly bring your hands down to lengthen your upper arm muscles. Slowly bring your hands down to lengthen your upper arm muscles. Excellent. Okay. For our next move, we're going to be working with the forearms, wrist, and fingers. Your legs can be straight or bent, whichever is most comfortable for you. I do it either way, just depending on my mood. This is a forearm, wrist, and hand finger move that I was taught by Eleanor Criswell Hanna when I was rehabilitating from broken wrists. I broke both my wrists at the same time and 12 ribs and my zygomatic bone in my face. I had a really bad fall. And this was just a wonderful move, and I do it to this day, not necessarily every day, but I do it periodically, and I just think it's a wonderful move. So you're lying on your back with your legs comfortable, and your upper arms are down on the floor. And again, you're going to bend your elbows, and you're going to bring your fingers toward the ceiling. And you're going to turn your palms towards your feet. You're going to turn your palms towards your feet. Your upper arms are going to stay on the floor as much as possible so you keep broadness in the shoulders. And now what you're going to do is you're going to start turning your palms towards your face. And as you turn your palms towards your face, you're turning your forearms, you're going to flex your wrists, and you're going to bring a diagonal movement so your baby fingers are going to aim towards the outside of your elbows. Your hands stay towards the ceiling. I'll repeat that. It's a little tricky. And now slowly release, bring your hands back towards your feet. So your elbows are bent, your fingers are in the air, your forearms are going to stay facing the ceiling, but there'll be some position changes. And now start to turn your palms towards your face. As you do that, flex your wrists and aim your baby fingers towards the outside of your elbows and let your fingers follow. You're creating a kind of diagonal rotation with flexion of the wrist. Don't overdo it. It's tricky. And slowly come back, turning your palms towards your feet. Once again, you're going to turn your palms. As you turn your palms towards your face, you're going to flex your wrists and aim your baby fingers towards the outsides of your elbows. Slowly release, turning your palms slowly back towards your feet. And now, turn your palms towards your face. We're going to do the kind of opposite move, but it's still flexion of the wrist. Okay, now you're starting with your palms towards your face. Now you're going to be doing a pronation. What we just did was a form of supination with some rotation in the hand and fingers. So now you're going to be turning, as you turn your palms towards your feet, you're going to flex your wrists and aim your thumbs towards the outside of your elbows. Stay within your comfort zone. Slowly release by turning your palms back towards your face. And again, make sure you're breathing. I just caught myself not breathing. Be sure you're breathing. As you turn your palms, you are pronating. As you turn your palms towards your feet, flex your wrists and aim your thumbs, and your fingers will organize themselves. Aim your thumbs towards the outside of your elbows. Do it gently. It's just a direction. And slowly release by turning your palms back towards your face. One last time. As you turn your palms towards your feet, you're going to flex your wrists. Did I say elbows? I meant wrists. Flex your wrists and aim your thumbs towards the outsides of your elbows. Slowly release by turning your palms back towards your face. And now very slowly, bring your arms down. You're lengthening biceps and other upper arm muscles, which get so very chronically contracted in many of us. That slow coming down of the hands to the floor to complete relaxation will help to release into length the upper arm muscles. You're releasing into length the upper arm muscles. And take just a resting interlude. That's a rather tricky move. If you need a little bit of help with that and have a few minutes after class, I'll be glad to help you with that move. But that move, as I was healing my wrists, was a godsend. It was just really helpful. And I could only do it a teeny little bit. Okay, we're going to move into the twist. And of course, I'm going to do a variation. So go ahead and bend your knees and start with your arms on the floor coming out from your shoulders. If that's too much for your shoulders, you can bring your arms lower. That's fine. And our twist today, I love this version of the twist. I find I do it a lot. Kids like this one a lot. What you're going to do is you'll get the hang of it. You're going to bring your knees to the right, and you're going, as you turn your left arm outward, raise your right arm into the air, through the air towards your left, and turn your right arm inward. Now start to take your knees to the left, and both arms are going to raise in the air and come toward the right as your knees go to left. And you're going to go back and forth as your knees come to the right, both your arms comfortably swing through the air to your left. Now you can nuance this a little bit. You may already notice that you're doing this. As your knees and arms go opposite, the arm that's closest to the floor externally rotates, and the arm that's more in the air internally rotates. So see if you notice that. Knees and arms are opposite. The arm that's going closer to the floor is externally rotating. The arm more in the air is internally rotating. Let this be fun. If you were a kid, this would be fun. You'd be laughing or giggling. And now slowly make your way so that your arms comfortably come down and your legs relax. And again, focus on length and broadness. Your body is long, your neck is long, your legs are long, your arms are long, your chest is broad, your upper back is broad, your shoulder girdle is broad. Okay. As you can see, I've been peppering this class with a continuation of some arm movement, shoulder, arm, elbow, forearm, hand, finger movement. We're going to do opposition of the fingers. I like to do it in the following way. Leave your upper arms on the floor, bend your elbows, fingers toward the ceiling. Let your hands be comfortable. I bring my hands a little bit more toward my face, usually on this one. Now, carefully and gently, what you're going to do, please follow the directions. You're going to bring the pad of your thumb and your baby finger to touch. Then you're going to slowly release. As you release, you don't go very far. You're just releasing. Then spread your fingers open wide. And once again, slowly release. Now bring your ring finger pad and your thumb pad to touch if you can. You're using different muscles, and different bones are more required to get mobilized in the palm of your hand when you do these moves. And then slowly release. Then open and spread your fingers. Then slowly release again. Note if it's hard to bring your finger pad and one or more of your thumb pads towards each other. Bring your middle finger pad and thumb pad toward each other and to each other if you can, touching. And then slowly release. Your hand will just open a little bit. Then open and spread your fingers and slowly release. Last one, bring your index finger and thumb pad toward each other. Slowly release. Open and spread your fingers. Slowly release. And once again, very slowly, bring your hands down toward the floor. You are lengthening once again the upper arm muscles, biceps, brachialis, coracobrachialis. There's different muscles in the upper arm. Of course, biceps is the most famous. And those muscles can get very chronically contracted. So this slow release of the coming down of the hand is an excellent move to do. We're coming into the final stretch. We usually end with the cat 4 movement, the arch and curl on the diagonal, as we are going to today, but I am going to repeat the variation of the arch and curl on the diagonal that we did earlier. It's one of my favorite variations on arch and curl diagonal. So allow your knees to bend. Bring one hand behind your head. Now remember, whichever hand is behind your head, your opposite bent leg is going to lift. So on the first, for the first 2 repetitions, you're going to inhale and arch. And as you exhale and curl and lift that opposite leg, you're going to externally rotate that leg. The foot is going to come in, and your opposite elbow and foot are going to come toward each other. And then you're going to come down, and you're going to repeat in the time I give you. Some people will do 2 repetitions. Some people may be doing 3 repetitions. Completing at least your second repetition. Now you're going to do at least 2 repetitions where that same leg is going to turn inward. So you're going to inhale and arch. Your arch remains your arch. But as you exhale and curl, the inside of the opposite leg as it lifts turns inward, your foot turns outward, and your elbow goes towards the outside of your opposite knee. So you've got a more internal rotation as is comfortable for you. And then slowly come out of that and repeat. And now you're going to change and bring your other hand behind your head. Your non-working hand is just on the floor. Your knees are bent. Make sure you organize which is your opposite bent leg, because that's what's going to come into play. And now you're going to inhale and arch. And as you exhale and curl, your bent leg is going to turn outward, your foot inward, and your opposite elbow and foot are coming toward each other. Just a comfort zone. And you'll repeat. And when you've completed at least 2, then you're going to do at least 2 where your opposite bent leg is going to come up and internally rotate. So you'll inhale and arch. Your arch is your arch. Stay with your own pace. If I'm going a little too fast, you stay with your own pace. And on the exhale and curl, you're going to turn your opposite bent leg inward. Your foot will go outward. Your opposite elbow will come to the outside of your bent, raised knee. And you'll repeat until I ask you to come to rest. As you complete, you're going to come into relaxation. That's going to be our last movement, but we like to do a brief body scan at the end, and they're basically the same as our interludes have been. Notice the support of your back and spine and shoulders against the floor. Notice the length in your trunk, the length in your spine, the length in your whole back and rib cage against the floor. Length in the front of your body. Length through your neck coming into your head. Notice the length in your legs coming out of your back, through your pelvis, out of your hip joints, and all the way down to your toes. Length. Coming back up to your shoulders. Notice length through your shoulders, all the way through your arms to your fingers. Your arms are coming out of your back as well. Your arms from your somatic center, you can trace through your spine, through your shoulder blades, through your shoulders, through all the joints of the arm, all the way to your fingertips, length. That is going to end our class. It's always good to take a few minutes at the end to roll onto your side and come to sitting and come to standing in your own time. Do a little bit of walking around. Some of you I know have to leave, and that's fine. But if you have another minute or two, slowly make your way to standing. Some people like to stand before they walk. Some people like to walk before they stand. It's up to you. I like to walk and kind of wiggle and feel the walking, and then I will often take a moment to stand. So it's up to you, but it's the walking, standing that is really nice because it translates the movements you've been doing on the floor into upright walking and standing. And again, as you either are walking or standing, you're noticing your vertical length. You're noticing that your back is long, the front of your body is long, you're broad in your chest and your shoulders. Your neck is long. Your head is resting comfortably on your neck. Your legs are long and comfortably positioned under your pelvis. Your feet are nice and grounded into the floor. And that is going to officially end today's class. I'm going to stop the recording.